early. Just some of the main people are out. But like I said, if you can find the tight end, do it. You know, this game. I ran it. I ran the numbers and it didn't add up. I have the Colts losing to the Chiefs 26-22, right? So I guess I'd favor the Colts here, and it's barely. But that doesn't factor in how hot the Colts have been over the last few weeks, right? I also don't love how Kansas City finished the season or Andy Reid's playoff records. So I'd lean the Colts here for sure. It's easy for me to see the Colts even scoring a garbage TD to cover that 5, right? They say they're down by 10 points. KC's in prevent defense at the end of the fourth quarter. It's 2 minutes left. The Colts score. They're within 4 points or 3. They onside kick and don't get it. I've seen that happen a lot too. So I definitely lean the Colts here, especially with how hot they have. But, what I think I'm going to take is the under 57 here. Okay. And a lot of people are on the over, like, the Chiefs and the Colts, high flying offenses can't be stopped. Well, like I said, the Colts have been only allowing 15.6 points per game since November 11th there. So, and look at what they did. They shut down the Texans at home, 7 points. I can't go Chiefs, and I definitely have to, from an algorithm standpoint, I have the total going to 48. So this is a play for me. I am playing the under. But remember that old 100-1 Colts winning the Super Bowl ticket? We hedged that last week, and we're going to keep hedging it. We're going to be invested for about 10 units this week, 10 of the 100, obviously. That would give us a profit, a little bit over double if the KC wins. But obviously, there's not a ton of meat on the bone. Well, sorry, I misspoke. There is a lot of meat on the bone, but we're going for it pretty hard. We're going to make sure we profit off this hedge no matter where we're at. Now, if the Colts end up winning the Super Bowl, there's probably about a 40-1 to 50-1 meat left, depending on who they're playing. If they're playing the Saints, probably 40-1, right? So we're going to keep hedging that and all the way to the top. Dallas versus the LA Rams. Over under 49.5. Congratulations to Jason Garrett. He's prolonged his job for at least one more year. Now, I don't think that's a good thing for Cowboy fans, but it is what it is, right? One thing you have to appreciate is how much Amari Cooper and tight end Blake Jarwin has meant to Zeke the last few weeks, opening up the running game. It meant a lot to Dak Prescott, too. The whole Cowboys offense and the defense, right? Keep the defense off the field, stretch first downs. Another thing that we have to look at here is the Rams actually ranked second worst against tight ends, right? And I'm saying this because Jarwin has been such a big part of the game the last few weeks. I like looking at the tight end stats here. It's the bailout guy, right? Now, we know that the Rams have the second best offense behind the Kansas City Chiefs this year, 422 yards per game. But their defense is not good against the run. They're pretty good against the pass, but they ranked a 10th worst, or whatever, 23rd against the run at 122 yards per game allowing, and that kind of feeds into the Cowboys' strength here. We know the coaching advantage has to go with the Rams. I mean, McVay, it's got to go to him. But at the same time, the boys have had a harder schedule than the Rams, and maybe a harder division. The Redskins were tough for a while until they got injured, right? The Giants have a lot of firepower and just didn't have an offensive line or defense. The Eagles are the Eagles. The Rams got to face the Cardinals, the worst team, and the 49ers, the most unlucky team and a bad team this year. Okay? Niners unlucky losing their quarterback, Garoppolo, losing a ton of people, actually. Defense banged up. They lost Jerick McKinnon before the season started. Braid has been banged up. Garcon's been banged up all year. Everybody's been banged up there except George Kittle. So, the Rams, in my opinion, had an easier division. Now, the Seahawks were their competition, but the Seahawks, they're great at home, but their defense is just not. It's a shell of what it used to be. Still, amazing offense, but shell of what it used to be. The key here is Gurley. They're scary good when they're throwing the ball to Gurley, and he's getting 4 to 10 yard chunks or longer. That would be the demise of the Eagles, right, or the Cowboys, right there. Can they stop them? Well, if you look at Leighton Vander Esch and how good he has been for the Cowboys, you think there's an absolute shot that they can stop him. You know, the Rams never had a great home field over there. There's a lot of Cowboy fans in L.A. How's that going to play? Is that going to piss the Rams off? Or is that just more of a home field advantage for the Cowboys and less for the Rams? You know, the way the Cowboys defense has been playing lately, that's a very tempting plus money to take from me. Okay. I have the Rams winning 25-21 here. So I guess I would lean towards the under. And I know these high overs, you know, people think firepower, blah, blah, blah. But I'm taking the Cowboys, and I'm taking them +7. If you notice, I've been really liking the defensive teams in the playoffs. I've always have, and I'm going against a lot of people. But I'm taking the Cowboys here at +7, and I'm going to sprinkle the money line here. There's a shot that they have it winning. I don't like the way the Rams finished the season. I like how the Cowboys have been rolling. I think I like the 7. Now, you know, gun to the head, who's going to win the game? You got to take the Rams, right? But, you know, we'll see. But what I was saying before about live betting, this is a great live betting situation, I think, because if the Rams jump the Cowboys, it could be a long day for the Cowboys, and it could possibly end up being a blowout, right? So, you might want to live bet whoever, you know, starts driving and gets, you know, into the field goal range first. That's not a bad idea to do something like that. Chargers versus the New England Patriots. Patriots laying 4 points. Over under is 47. The Patriots. They're kind of under the radar this year. It's kind of strange. They're just kind of, you know, first round bye. Nobody's talking about it, right? It's kind of weird. You have the best QB in the league, right? Tom Brady. I think he's also the oldest quarterback in the league at 41 years old. You know, I think lately the Super Bowl contenders have always had like a Manning, Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, or Eli. Well, I guess either Manning. The last 10, 12 years, there's some crazy stat out there that they're always in it. So that's really scary to bet against them here. But, you know, New England is 6-2 against the spread at home. The Chargers are an amazing 8-1 against the spread on the road, which we covered that last week. The problem with New England is that they are a bit decimated and kind of a shell of themselves now, right? So if you look at the timing in this game, it's terrible. The Chargers have to, you know, they traveled all the way from Baltimore back home, and now they got to go all the way back and play the early game. Well, Jesus, by now they're used to it. You know, it's a terrible spot in the regular season, but they got to be used to it by now. They're probably almost even embracing that, like everybody's against us, the cards are stacked against us. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. You know, what I was saying about the Patriots being a shell of themselves, there's no LeGarrette Blount to pound the ball in short yardages. There's no Danny Amendola to kind of bail them out on those sneaky little out plays. Now they do have Hogan, of course, but and they also have Edelman, but Amendola always played a key role in the playoffs, if you remember. Josh Gordon, he was a big thing to stretch the field, and all of a sudden in late December, comes up dirty for a drug test. No surprise, right? Just ruining his career. He might be done, by the way, by now. I don't know what the league's going to do. And now the Cowboys can't stretch the field like they used to. You know, you remember they lost one of their best receivers recently to the Rams. Gronk, he's banged up, man. He's just beat up. It shows this year. I mean, he's still amazing at running routes, kind of that little push off before 15 feet before the ball gets to him. He creates that separation with his left arm. Great at that. Nobody's better of a tight end. But the dude's been banged up, and he definitely doesn't look the same this year. New England's D has been pretty good again, just doing enough to win a lot of games, but they can't sack the quarterback. They rank second to last in sacks per game at 1.9. While the Chargers, since Bosa's been back, the last 3 games, they have 3.7 sacks per game. And even throughout the year, half the year without Bosa, or more than half, they're still 10th best at 2.7 for the year. But Ingram and Bosa and Jones, man, they've been really, really getting to the quarterback the last month or so. I think the Chargers have gotten better since midseason, and the Patriots possibly got worse. You know, a key for me is that I think the Patriots have the easiest schedule in the league. I think it ranked like 31st or 32nd. The Chargers are kind of the middle of the pack. That's a big key for me here. I have the Patriots winning by 1.5 points. I have the Patriots winning 23.5 to 21. Okay? So here I am again, leaning the under, and I'm liking the public dog here on the Chargers. Trust me, I don't love betting public dogs. But in this case, the numbers are screaming to bet the Chargers. Yeah. So there you are. Now, at the same time, would you be shocked if New England became New England and just blew them out like they always do in the playoffs? Like, remember that Tennessee game last year? Tennessee beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They go to New England. Freaking didn't even look like they belonged in the playoffs. That could happen. I don't think I think Rivers, this is do or die for Rivers. This is do or die for the Chargers. They have to win this game for Rivers' legacy. Gotta go Chargers. Philadelphia, fly, Eagles fly versus the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans laying -7.5, 8-ish. Over-unders at 50.5. Well, maybe God does like the Eagles, you know, being that they're the biggest underdog last week against my Bears, and you know they won but didn't deserve it. And the Eagles' first touchdown drive, like I mentioned before, was comprised of pure penalties with a touchy pass interference call against Prince Amukamara. I thought it was touchy because I seen the same crap on the other side. I didn't think it was called equal, but hey, I'm a Bear fan, right? An unnecessary roughness penalty on Adrian Amos. Too many men on the field penalty. It was just, it was incompetence by the Bears. Just very green, right? Mitch Trubisky did not check down much the whole first half. He was kind of nervous. You know, he didn't audible when the whole Eagles defense came up to the line. You audible the quick slant. He didn't do that. Just kind of ran the same play. Mitch became much better in the second half, but it wasn't quite enough when your field goal kicker misses. The Eagles scored when there were only 10 Bears players on the field, like I said before, too. You know, I can sit there and complain, but the Eagles are here, right? But the point I'm trying to make, they got outgained by over 50 yards. I think the Eagles are a good team. I don't think they are a great team like they were last year. They're just they lost too many players, especially in the defensive backs. Man, what you got to really give it up to what the Saints have done this year, and we have them at 19-1. I think the money line on this is plus 330. It was when I took it. It's probably less now, but I hedged a little bit because it's just so easy. You're not going to be that invested, even though you have 19-1. We're taking plus money. It's like you just take half of your bet, and you're going to make a profit on it if the Eagles win. So I am hedging my Saints bet. I'm not sure if I would have if the Bears won and they went to the Rams, but one thing that the Saints are is the real deal, in my opinion. Drew Brees is not going to be like Mitch Trubisky the first half. He is going to pick apart that decimated Eagles secondary, and you're going to see it. I mean, he's going to pick them apart like like